All right. So hello to all of you on the live stream and in this Zoom meeting with me. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is one of our Thursday Zoom meetups, and they are the public-facing part of the vidwheel Creator Network. What is the vidwheel Creator Network, or the VCN? It's a group that brings together solopreneurs who aspire to take our businesses to the next level with self-produced video. We draw on the expertise of the community and industry experts to guide us through the process of making video and making it work for our businesses, giving you better reach, efficiency, and growth. If you find that intriguing, you're a doer, and you want to grow your business with video, join us for one of our next events. December is going to be Video Sales Month, and we kick off Video Sales Month with a live stream podcast episode featuring Carolyn Choate on November 30th at 12:15 Eastern. That's followed the next day on December 1st at noon Eastern with another Zoom meetup like this one, featuring Kevin Snow, who's presenting using video in your emails to drive engagement and sales. All of our future events and those two events as well can be found at events.vidwheel.com. You can find that link in the description of this live stream, or I've also popped it in chat here. Okay, so let's get on to the main event. I'm actually presenting today. We're going to look at video podcasts, the everlasting gobstopper of content. And with that, I am just gonna, let me see if I can remember the order of things. I'll go ahead and pin myself here. And we'll get on to the presentation. Okay, so video podcasts, the everlasting gobstopper of content. First, I got to let you know that I have packed a lot into this presentation, and the majority of it is actually video tutorials. So you might want to reference those in the future. You can visit gobstopper.vidwheel.com to view this presentation at any point after this live stream or meeting. It's full of the links to the software that I mentioned, visualization of my actual content plan, and and the presentation itself with the video tutorials. So the first question you might have is, why the Wonka reference? And it's really simple. With just one video podcast episode, you can have content that lasts and lasts. So with that, we'll get into the presentation of what we're going to cover. In the presentation, we're going to look at why you should consider a video podcast, how you can easily create, break down, and distribute the content that you create from this video podcast, and the secret to making it a success. So first off, why a video podcast? Breaking down long-form video content like a video podcast allows for a lot of opportunities and avenues to reach your target audience. I wrote down here shallow and deep, and what I mean by that is shallow, you can create a lot of different types of content. You can create a lot of different types of content for different platforms. You could create shorts for TikTok, a live on LinkedIn, and a long form version to share on YouTube. You're engaging a large but shallow audience. You could also go really deep with this type of content setup. You hook someone with that punchy clip, and they progress through your content ladder until they're a rabid fan and subscriber to your audio podcast. Another great benefit of this medium, or video in general, is you get to meet people 24 hours a day. So you can let them get a taste of your personality. You can show them some snippets of how you work. This type of thing will help attract the people that you want to work with, and they want to work with you, and probably repel the ones that are not a great fit, which is a good thing. And last, using the system I'm outlining here, once you've created the initial live stream, most of your work is done. It's just processing and distribution from there. And now you might be thinking, no one wants to see a million clips and instances of my little podcast. I would contend that they do. There's all different awareness levels of you and your company, and everybody's on a different point of that buyer's journey. So if you think about your own experiences, say you love a podcast, but sometimes you don't have time to listen to a full episode. You want the highlights, and that's where video clips come in. Or there's a buzzy new live stream out there, but it conflicts with the standing meeting on your calendar. It's a good thing they also provide that live stream as an audio podcast version, so you can listen to it when you're doing dishes or mowing lawn. Repurposing your content gives people a taste, it gives them a path to follow, and it gives them a chance to become invested in you and your business on their own terms. So repurpose, long form stuff, repurpose. Okay, so what does my system look like? It's this. I create 25 instances of content off of one podcast episode. And if you grab the presentation, you can actually click through and get a prezi of this where you can zoom in and out and kind of see where things lie. The first piece of content that I create is a live stream video podcast, which is broadcast out to 3 platforms. The live stream becomes a long form video on YouTube, maybe with a little editing. And then that's shared out via email and has a couple homes on my website. It also becomes an audio podcast, which is distributed to 13 platforms by a program called Buzzsprout. And I break up each episode into 3 clips that are distributed on LinkedIn and YouTube. It may look a little bit crazy, but it's actually a pretty simple setup, as I only engage with a few social media networks. And most importantly to everything is it's in line with what my business is trying to do. It's sustainable from a time and budget standpoint. It's predictable, and it's easy for me to pull off. So like I said on that last slide, it all starts with the live stream. And to do that, I use a program called Restream. It's got a freemium model, which is great. You can try it out before you get serious with it and decide to do a paid version or stick with the freebie. A lot of people do that. The program is really easy. So we're going to hop on a tutorial really quickly here, where I will show you how to get set up and streaming. Here is a really quick Restream tutorial that you can use to make your video podcast. So first, why Restream? Can I just do this on Zoom? Technically, yes, but Zoom streams are super low quality for this type of material, and they can only stream to one platform at a time. Even if you use the free version of Restream, you'll get higher quality video and the ability to stream to 2 platforms simultaneously. So this is my recommendation, and it's super, super easy. So here is the app screen that you see when you log into Restream. This is the free version. I'm going to demo with that because that's most likely where you're going to start. And it's pretty simple. You choose add channel here. You pick the network that you want to be able to stream to. I'm going to pick YouTube, and if you want to use the system that I'm laying out, I recommend that one of your 2 channels is YouTube. The reason for that is it's really easy to download videos from YouTube. It is not really easy to download videos from other platforms. I'm looking at you, LinkedIn and Facebook. So YouTube should be one of your 2 channels. It just walks you through the protocol, sign into your YouTube channel. Restream does the rest. You will see here that the YouTube channel is set up and ready to be streamed to. And I'll show you what it looks like inside the studio as well. Using the studio is what I would recommend if you're just getting started. If it's the first time you sign in, You will get prompted to turn on your camera and audio, just like in the Zoom meeting or any other video chat platform. You can see it already found mine. And how to invite people in? There's a link right here. Invite guests. You would copy that, share it with your guest. Then they would come and talk with you, just like at any other video meeting, except the quality is going to be a lot better. A lot of other options over here that we're not going to get into: backgrounds, video clips, overlays. What we want to look at is go live. This is the one. So when you and your guest are set up in here, you hit go live, it'll go live to those channels that you picked out. When you're done, you just hit stop, and that's it. You just did a live stream. Congrats. Okay, so now that you have a live stream in the can, and it really can be that simple, just talk to somebody, shoot it out there to a couple of different platforms. We're going to use Descript to edit, enhance, and export your long form audio and video and develop a few clips the same way that I laid out at the beginning. This program is a little more complex, but Video Neil will talk you through it. So here we go. How do you take that live stream and easily chop it up in Descript? If you have the paid version of Restream, you just go into this cloud icon here, which is your video storage, and into your recordings, expand one of the menus tied to your recordings, and hit edit in Descript. If you're working from the free version of Descript, I've got you covered too. In theory, you would have streamed one of your streams to YouTube. If you've done this, we just hop over to the YouTube studio, studio.youtube.com with your login. We'll get you to this page. You can look at your content. And over here under lives, you will have the same type of menu. You can pick from any of your lives, hit that options menu, and download right here. So we are actually going to take Donnie's podcast episode and hit download. It may prompt you, ask you where you want to put it. Actually, I'm glad it did that. I'm going to put it here. And now we'll jump into Descript. Okay, now we're going to start working with Descript. We have the screen here that it will look like when you get into Descript. You can just pick new project. It's going to go ahead and make one of those. This is your project. You could put in a title. You can bring in a file, start recording, start writing. For today's purposes, I'm going to bring this window over where I just downloaded Donnie's podcast. I'm going to pop it right in there. Just drag it to the left side of the screen. You can see it starts with the thumbnail, and I'm just going to hit done here. We're not going to with any of those settings, and it is transcribing. So we'll let it do its thing and come on back in a minute. Okay, we are back and the file is transcribed. It just takes a moment or two, depending on the length of the file. You can see that now that the transcription is on the left here, the video's on the right. This setup is really useful for making edits and finding the best clips to output, which is something we will get to. But first, let's deal with the long form version of this podcast episode. We're going to want an audio version of the live stream to upload to Buzzsprout. And you may also want an edited video version. That's up to you. If there was a section in the middle of the interview that you didn't like how it turned out, or if you got a long head and tail on the content, then that might make sense. So first, a quick overview of Descript here. If you edit the transcript, if you take a big chunk and hit backspace, that part of the video is gone. If you want to be a little more fine-tuned or edit a section that doesn't have any dialogue, what you can do is come down to the timeline here and get this icon, which you'll get if you just get to the edge of the video content, click and pull, and then you'll see that it takes off the front or whatever, the back of the video. All right, so for our purposes here, let's assume your live stream podcast went off without a hitch, and all you need to do is tidy up a little bit. So you can just go down to the timeline here, and like I just demoed, you get that icon and you just pull it close to where that waveform starts, and that will take off. If you had timer intro or you didn't get started right away, it'll trim that off. And then to move to the end of the timeline, you can just scroll down here on the transcript, click that last word, and you can see that there's actually quite a bit of video after that last bit of text. So if you wanted to, especially for the audio, trim it up just like that, you're now in pretty good shape. So the head and tail are trimmed. Another feature to consider here is eliminating filler words. You can see here in the transcript that there's a lot of blue underlined words. Those are the filler words. If you right click one and go to remove filler words, it'll open this dialog. So you can see how many filler words you have up here. You can actually search by filler word type if you're on a paid version, and you get a list over here. On the free version, only and are identified by Descript, and you have the ability to take them out. If you're on the paid version, you can identify even more filler words and duplicate words and that type of thing, and clean your audio or video up even more. So if you want to take these words out of your video, you can click the instance of the filler word over here on the right. It will play a little bit of context on either side of your filler word so that you can kind of hear why it's there and what's going on there. And if you want to get rid of it, you just hit apply. It's a good tool, but I will say that it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because if I went through and took out here, you can see we've got 407 filler words that made it into the conversation between Donnie and I. If I just went and hit apply all, it would probably be way too chopped up to really sound natural. So especially if you're going to use the video for it, it'll look super choppy. So you have to kind of use it at your discretion. You can clean up a little, but if it's something with as many ums and ahs as Donnie and I had here, you're not going to want to take them all out, most likely. So one final touch that we want to do here for our long form video, and it's one that I'm afraid is only going to be valid on the paid version for a video this length, is to come over here to audio effects, hit the plus, and go to studio sound. So studio sound is just an automatic audio cleaner upper, right? It'll help with the levels. It'll take out pops and clicks. And if you maxed out your levels on your mic, it just cleans it up. And it does a pretty good job for an automatic audio processor. On the paid version, you can use it on longer form videos. On the free version, you can only use it on videos that are 10 minutes or less. So that still applies when we get to the clips, but for this one, you might have to go without if you're on the free version. So once this is done, and we're not going to wait for it, I'll show you this next step. You're able to output these videos, and you do that by coming up here, hitting publish, and then under publish, you're going to come over here and highlight export. Here's where you have your different format options right here. This dropdown, video, audio, GIF, timeline, transcript, subtitles. All of those can be useful, but for this case, we're going to say audio, and then you just hit export, and it'll ask you where you want to put it, but it's that easy. So that's how you can get your long form audio version cleaned up and easily edited, and how you can get a long form video version if you wanted to make changes to what you created as a live stream. Okay, the long form content has been output. Let's look at creating a few shorter clips. And as you can see, maybe notice when we were talking about this before, the transcript is okay, right? It's not perfect, but it should be enough to be able to do this next trick, and my favorite way to find the clips that I use when I create a podcast like this. So what you want to do is hit the magnifying glass. If it's still looking at these filler words that we were looking at before, what you can do is hit menu here, which is search type, and put that on text. Now that it's on text, you can put in any word that you want to search this transcript and find the clip that you want. One of our kind of pillars of what we do is we try to make things easy. So that's one word I often look for within the conversation that I have in my podcast. And you can see it pops up 3 times. Right here, I click it, it plays. I'm talking about it's easy enough to take a picture that makes you look good on Instagram. That's not a very compelling clip. Click the next one. Donnie talking about video being an easy medium to get into. That one's not bad. This one here is Donnie talking about how producing a lot of content off of a video podcast is an easy thing to do, which is what we're talking about today. So that actually sounds like a pretty good clip. Okay, after we've identified the space that we're going to look at, we're reading it. So let's see. Let's go with, we'll start here. One of the things that I learned about producing a volume of content is it can be an absolute beast. And then he goes on, and we'll just take this whole section. You don't have to be super exact right now, because what we're going to do is highlight the section that we want to work with, right click it, and duplicate it to a new composition. If you go to this title right here, that's your drop down. These are the compositions in your project. So you can see this one's called clips from. That's what we just created. So we'll come over here. We'll change the title of this clip. We'll just call it Donnie Content Story. And we'll start working with the clip. So what's a good spot to start this? So at the beginning here, you can see he's talking about all these different platforms. I think that distracts a little bit from the main point of what we are trying to say here, which is it's easy to create a lot of content. So I'm not going to overwhelm the audience with that. And instead, I'm going to start here. Early on in this business, I found I could produce a ton of content, and that would be easy to do. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the easy. This up here all sounds very hard to me. Producing for so many platforms and all that. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to highlight it, and you hit backspace, and that's all there is to it. It's deleted the audio, the video, and that part of your transcript. So let's listen to this section with Donnie and see if it kind of makes sense as a starting point.
So early on, even building the business, I had to find a way that I could produce a ton of content that would be easy to do and would fit naturally into what I was already doing.
So that's a pretty good intro. So I think for our purposes here, that's going to be pretty good. You would edit just like that. You don't want the end. You chop it off like that. You don't want something in the middle. Same thing. You identify it, you hit backspace, and you can take it out. The other thing to look at here is you do have those filler words that you could come and take out if you wanted.
Launch you got in the podcasting space.
And then once you get this transcript how you want it and it sounds good, you could hit that studio sound. That's going to be available for the short videos, even if you're on the free version. And then next, we're going to add captions. The burned in captions that you see all over social media, they're super important when you have an autoplay video set up on a platform. So like LinkedIn will autoplay videos without the sound on. It's all the more important to have your captions on at that point so that A, people can watch without the sound on if they're at work or something, or B, you can grab their attention with what you're talking about in the captions and they'll click through and listen to it. So this is how you do that. You highlight all this, you come up to this T at the top, and you go down to captions. So what this is going to do is automatically make these captions based off of your transcript. And once you have these captions in, you can move them. I like to put mine at the bottom like that. You can change the font over here. I usually go with this one. And then if you want to put a background on, which is a good way to make them easier to see, you can just hit the plus there. And if you want to change the color of that background, you can hit the circle, put in your hex code, grab one of the colors that's already set up there, and there you go. So if we were to play through here.
So early on in building the business, I had to find a way that I could produce a ton of content that would be easy to do and would fit naturally into what I was already doing. So the nice thing about by the time we launched growth mode, I already had a cool methodology to create a massive amount of content. So as we launched it.
So there you go. And I took my video feed out. I was covering it a little, but hopefully that came through okay. From here, if you want to make any last checks to make sure, and sometimes it's easiest to make sure that the titles and the transcript are correct by watching the titles as you go through the video. You'll catch more that way. But if you do find something you need to edit and you don't want to, delete it and delete that section of video, highlight it and hit the word correct. And then you see here, I can change growth mode into a capital G, capital M, hit correct, and it'll come through on the captions just like you formatted it there. You can do another quick check through if you want to for other tweaks, but at this point you should be in pretty good shape. And once again, you can just go up to publish, choose export, and choose video. Again, you can look at the settings here if you want to, but you should be good to just hit export and send that video to render. Once you have all these pieces, you can distribute them. All right, so that was a long one, but thanks for bearing with me. Hopefully that there's a lot of info there. So hopefully that was not too much, but enough to kind of give you an idea of how to do that stuff. I should say after we go through, and that's all the processing pieces there, we are making a podcast, so we should put it out on those traditional podcast platforms. The service of choice for me that I use for distribution is Buzzsprout. They have a freemium model as well, so you can get started on them, try them out before you get committed to paying. They have a lot of great features. I did want to make a tutorial for them too, but I've already used up the usual time block that we use here on these meetings. So the good news is it's really simple, and your audio podcast will be published out to all the major platforms. Maybe I'll make a tutorial going forward. If you're interested in seeing one, feel free to reach out to me, and that'll give me the motivation I need to do that. The last piece I want to mention here of the system I put together is email. I use MailChimp and have a simple RSS feed-driven campaign that pushes out new episodes. And my website, which is built on WordPress and Divi, we have a dedicated page to our podcast that the video version and audio version are updated. And we also put up a dedicated solo web page for each episode as a bit of an SEO play. So that does it in terms of running through the system and how to do the things. Sorry. We talked about why you might want a video podcast. We took a look at the process of creating an episode and how to distribute it. Now that secret to success I mentioned at the beginning, it's simple. Go do it. That's how you learn. That's how you get better. Copy my plan there. I just gave you all the tools that you needed to replicate it, and the rest is up to you. So with that, another reminder, there's a ton in there. So visit gobstopper.vidwheel.com to view the presentation and get all those tasty links. And I am ready for questions. If you it looks like Nick Nick wants the Buzzsprout tutorial. So I'll work on that, Nick. But I'll drop this link in the chat for folks in the chat room. And you can access the presentation here and, kind of take those tutorials slower or whatever you need. And yeah, I don't know if anybody has any questions after that. It was a lot. So if you need a moment, you can take it. But yeah, go ahead.
Always have questions. So
Yep.
I really appreciate the that one element being able to hunt for the words ah as opposed to do it manually. That
Yep.
is a massive time saver, and also being able to cabbage that piece of video soundbite matching the video at the same time. Is there do you recommend any other software for other intros, extras, elements like that you might want to position with these elements before you push it out?
Yeah, so actually, and that's a great question, because it kind of the way I do it and the way I teach people how to do it in the VCN is that we try to live produce our video podcasts. And part of the reason for that is it takes out all of the post-production. So like Nick and I have gone through this recently. We've got a couple other folks who haven't been or not here today, but by live producing, what I mean is that we have a couple of scenes set up through I use OBS personally. You could do a similar type of thing through Restream, but you're making those switches live, putting in that intro, putting in that outro, switching between camera setups if you want to. And then when you get to the end of that live stream, you're done. You've got no like real production work to do. You just start chopping it up and pushing it out. That said, you can add, say, an intro to your clips, or you could do that same type of thing in Descript. The other programs that we typically recommend, if you want a freebie open source, we like OpenShot, which can do a lot of that. It's a nonlinear editing program that has a lot of the bells and whistles of the more expensive things that you can do. Or there's a kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a light version of Premiere called Adobe Premiere Rush, which we've had some luck with in our group too. So I don't know if that answer what you're
it actually layers into, and one more question I'll ask. So
Sure.
If you have either a sponsor, is there a tactful way of introducing, and then how do you introduce a sponsor, or you have let's say someone has a giveaway, you have a speaker that has a giveaway, which in essence is a sponsor, right? Because it helps drive the any affiliation links. How do you introduce that? Do you introduce the top of it, middle way, end?
So the first thing I would look at in that situation is it going to exist on all like versions, right, of the platform? So if it is, right, if you want it on your live stream and on your long form video and on your audio podcast, I think if it's a giveaway, you start off with it, right? Like it's a common format to if you got something fun for people, that you put it out there and try to hook them with it, and maybe you tie something to later in the program that they have to know for the giveaway or something like that, right? But if you were doing it, like say you only wanted that on your audio version, or one other version like Buzzsprout, which I mentioned, has the ability to kind of stick ads or audio clips into different parts of your podcast. So you could not only, if you had a giveaway that was happening, just for the month of December, you could put in promos to all of your existing episodes that you have on that platform. through December and then take them down and put something else in there, sort of thing, right?
Well, that's even better.
Yeah,
time release.
Yeah, you're right. So you wouldn't have that functionality. Say your live stream would just live. If you had things up on YouTube or something, you could edit in that promo, but you wouldn't be able to kind of pull it back in the same way that you can with some of the audio things. So,
thank you.
All right, cool.
I had a question.
Hey, sure, Charlie. Go ahead.
Thank you. I actually train on the new iMovie, which is like 80% of Final Cut Pro, which is the movie standard. So if I have something in iMovie, can I then pop that into Buzzsprout? And I probably would have already done this editing, but then if I understand it correctly, Buzzsprout is how you get it to all the podcasting spots.
That's correct.
So I could do that. Okay.
Yeah, and you could output.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say you could output an audio version from iMovie and put that up on Buzzsprout, and then Buzzsprout would distribute it. Yeah, that would work fine. No issues there.
Okay, and then my other question, at the very beginning, you mentioned a training that we could go and grab. Is that a email or a paper training, or is that you're talking about this video? You were kind of cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah, so it's this presentation you can grab.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be the link, the gobstopper.vidwheel.com, which if you go to that, you get this whole presentation, and it'll have those 2 training videos, and it's got links to all the software, which are affiliate links. So if anybody is going out and gonna buy the software anyway, I appreciate you using the affiliate links, and then it's got a drill down onto the content system. I built it out in Prezi so that you could kind of zoom in and out and see where things are. So
my third question is kind of a follow-up to Bernie. If I understood you correctly, and I just got really excited, is I could put in a freebie or a promo in something that I've done that I want to keep and use for forever. And then I can pull that out, and so I can put it into YouTube with the promo, then redo it and put it back in. Is that how that works?
So not on YouTube, but on the audio platform. So Buzzsprout does it. A lot of the other ones do, because I know Donnie and I had in our podcast, he brought up another one, which I'm blanking on the name of the service they use, but they have similar functionality. On YouTube, once you put that video up there, your options are you can cut things out of it using their editor, but besides that, it's a video's up, that link is tied to that video. You can't really swap things out easily.
But if I had the original version of the video, I could put the promo thing up and then just delete that one and put the other one back.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, that would work fine.
You can see this big smile.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah,
Thanks.
No problem. Awesome. I'm just going to check the time here because I know that was long. All right. So we've got a few more minutes. If anybody does have any questions, happy to answer them. I'm going to just check our chats too and see if anything's coming through. Anybody in meeting? All right. Don's got one. What's up, Don?
Do you have a favorite? I mean, you have a great voice, number one. I do not. So I'm wondering, is there a way to microphone or sound equalizing package that you like?
Yeah. So, I mean, for most folks, well, first off, I'll plug this Samsung Q2U is the mic that I typically use. I can send you a link for it, Don. It's a great mic for this type of setup. But what I always tell people is it's a one-trick pony, right? It's me talking into this mic. If you wanted to use it in situations where it was you wanted it in the middle of the table for an interview or something like that, it's not going to work. And for that, I usually send people to a Blue Yeti. But this is an inexpensive mic. It works really well. It has a lot to do with what you're saying. So that, and then I will say the easiest way to deal if you want, to easily take care of levels and your voice compression and all of that is that studio sound that I showed in Descript. There's also a version of it in Buzzsprout if you're going audio only that I believe is called Magic Mastering or something to that effect. So a lot of these like consumer aimed kind of production tools are incorporating that, because anybody who's ever dealt with audio, right? Like that, if you're an audio person, A, they hate that I'm saying that you can use those, but B, you can go so far down that rabbit hole, right? And just be tweaking things forever. So yeah, those would be my suggestions. What kind of mic are you on now, Don? Is it?
I don't know what this thing is. It says it's a BM 800, but I'm not sure the manufacturer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and you're XLR, so you've got a little okay. So you're down the path compared to what I just gave you. This Q2U, well, we can talk about this offline. We don't need to get into it deep, but let's set up a time to chat about it after, and we can sort it out. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool. Anybody else got anything that they would like to ask? And if not, I'm going to start moving into our closing remarks. To everybody in the room, please stick around. I'm just going to sign off our live stream folks, and then we can keep chatting a bit. So thank you to all of you out there who joined us via live stream, and everyone who joined us here in the meeting. If you missed the top of this meeting, don't miss Video Sales Month, which is December here on the VCN. We're featuring Carolyn Choate on November 30th with our December podcast episode. And Kevin Snow is going to talk to the group in a format just like this on December 1st at noon. Both of those events can be found at events.vidwheel.com. To all of you, have a good afternoon and create confidently.